The hits just keep coming for an Albuquerque man. A year ago, he was in a horrible motorcycle crash with his wife, and they each lost a leg. Now he's just one of the hundreds of crime victims in our city. And he tells us the worst part is he feels like police didn't care that his truck had been stolen. Caleb James is here with another example of citizens taking matters into their own hands and fighting crime. Caleb?
And Tessa, Jeremy Waller says he was standing right next to an APD officer when his friends called and described to both of them the location of his stolen truck. But Waller says the officer standing there didn't seem interested in pursuing it. Waller lost his leg in an August crash, and he says he had to go get his own stolen truck.
Heard the truck start and just peel out immediately.
Jeremy Waller was at home late Tuesday night when he heard an unmistakable sound out on the street. His lowrider Chevy pickup, gone in an instant.
That's more invasive. I mean, they're at your home.
Jeremy's truck may be loud when it's running, but if it's not, there's really no way to know someone's in here. The windows are so dark. He may have helped that thief out. The first thing he did was rip this dome light out so nobody would know he was in here.
First thing I did, I called 911, but I logged into Facebook.
911 on the phone in one hand, Jeremy posted about his stolen wheels on Facebook.
My friends responded immediately. I mean, I think 20 minutes they found the truck.
And as an APD officer arrived at his home, Jeremy says he had the truck pinpointed. His friends were on speakerphone following it through southeast Albuquerque.
I was sitting here with the cop. I told him, hey, my friend's behind the truck. This is where it's at.
But Jeremy says the officer told him they wouldn't pursue the vehicle. He was shocked. In August, Jeremy and his wife both lost a leg in a horrifying motorcycle crash near Cochiti Lake on a prosthetic. Jeremy had to jump in his own vehicle to go recover his own truck.
They wanted nothing to do with it. Just a lot of the events lately, I've seen similar stories, and it's disappointing that they just almost act like they really don't care.
Well, Jeremy says it took him about a half dozen friends to box his truck in before the thief took off running, and Jeremy got his truck back. Tessa?
Caleb, thank you. And we want to make an important editorial note here. Ordinarily, KOB would be reaching out to APD prior to our newscast for a comment on a story like this. However, in recent months, that courtesy has resulted in our content being distributed to other news outlets. So to maintain the integrity of our content, our management has decided to reach out to APD for comment at the first opportunity tomorrow. And we will share their response with you in our 10 p.m. newscast tomorrow evening.
Cops refused to help man get his stolen truck, so he used Facebook and got it back himself. Because the man knew exactly where the stolen truck was, all cops had to do was go get it. They refused. So, he took action into his own hands. Albuquerque NM, in the land of the free, those tasked with protecting and serving all too often do the exact opposite. Instead of investigating rapes and murders, police departments spend billions enforcing an immoral war on drugs. Instead of solving thefts, police are kicking in doors looking for an illegal plant. And, in the case of Jeremy Waller, instead of arresting the person who'd stolen his truck, the same department who murdered a man for illegal camping, did not care about catching the thief at all. Waller just learned the hard way how unconcerned the Albuquerque Police Department is when it comes to helping citizens and stopping criminals. However, he also realized the power a community has when they come together to prevent and fight crime, sends police. Last week, Waller, who is missing one leg after a horrible motorcycle accident last year, was laying in bed when he heard the sound of his pickup truck start in his front yard. Knowing he'd not told anyone they could drive it, Waller made his way outside as fast as he could to attempt to stop the thief. However, he was too late. By the time Waller made it outside, his pickup truck was already peeling out down the street. "It's invasive," he said. "They're at your home." As Cobb reports, Waller's truck is loud when it's running, but when it's not, there's really no way to know someone's inside. The windows are so dark that it may have helped that thief out. The first thing he did was rip a dome light out so no one would know he was in there. Read more. Heavy police force on display in Ferguson as community awaits grand jury announcement. After realizing he'd been robbed, Waller did what most people would do: he called the cops. He also reached out to his community via Facebook. "First thing I did was call 911, but I logged into Facebook," Waller said. While talking with the police on the phone, Waller began receiving hits on the whereabouts of his stolen truck. "My friends responded immediately. I think in 20 minutes they found the truck," he said. By the time the officer responded to his home, Waller and his friends had found the stolen truck. Waller had his friend on the phone who was following the truck. They knew the exact location and were tracking it in person and in real time. This information on the whereabouts of the truck would be invaluable to a police department looking to solve a crime, right? Seems like an open and shut case. All the cops had to do was dispatch a couple of units to the location of the truck, arrest the bad guy, return the truck, and be heroes. However, that is not what happened. Instead of helping Waller, police simply didn't care. "I was sitting here with the cop, I told him, 'Hey, my friend is behind the truck and this is where it's at,'" Waller said. But the officer told Waller that they weren't going to pursue the truck. Naturally, Waller was shocked. This was an easy case for the police, yet they were entirely unconcerned. So, Waller took matters into his own hands and he was far more successful than the cops. Read more: Cops accuse senior citizen of robbing his own house, beat and arrest him on video. As COB reports, in August, Waller and his wife both lost a leg in a horrifying motorcycle crash near Cachiti Lake. On a prosthetic, Waller had to jump in his own vehicle to go recover his truck. "APD wanted nothing to do with it," he said. "Just a lot of the events lately, I've seen similar stories and it's just disappointing that they almost act like they really don't care." Instead of waiting around on the cops, who really don't care, Waller and a half-dozen friends got in their vehicles and pursued the thief on their own. When they found his truck, they boxed it in and the thief took off running. Waller got his truck back, but thanks to the complacency and careless attitude of the APD, a car thief is now free to strike again. However, because of the vigilance of the citizens proving they can solve crimes without cops, perhaps that thief will think twice next time. To illustrate the devious nature of the APD, COB left a statement on their website about how the department treats them now. An important editor's note: ordinarily, COB would reach out to APD for comment on this sort of story prior to a newscast, or prior to publishing on KOB.com. However, in recent months, that courtesy has resulted in COB content being distributed to other news outlets by the Albuquerque Police Department. To maintain the integrity of our content, our management has decided to reach out to APD for comment at the first opportunity on Saturday. We will share the department's response with you then. It is no wonder that a department who deliberately sabotages their local news agency would also refuse to do their job and arrest a car thief. Read more: for the first time in history, British medical journal calls for the legalization of all drugs.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, you know, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, you know, at least I can do it. You know, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, you know, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.